our Tuesday discussion today with two speakers from Holy Tisch. Holy Tisch is based in Munich, and it's an event and content platform centered around the future of food. My name is Gesa Lüdecke, and I'm the Director of Graduate Programs here at the Rachel Carson Center. And together with Professor Christoph Mauch, I'm moderating the Tuesday discussion this semester. And today it's my turn, and I'm again really excited that we could win such amazing speakers for today. And I will just give you a brief introduction of Holy Tisch and who our two speakers are. So we have Charlotte Prelorentzos, who is an agroecologist, and we have Joella Korczak, who is an anthropologist, and they're both working for Holy Tisch. And Charlotte is actually the co-founder of Holy Tisch, and I think you co-initiated the entire platform or network. And Joella recently joined as project director. And you both actually have very different backgrounds. You come from different fields of expertise. So for example, Charlotte studied a BA of Sciences in International Engineering at the University of Furtwangen, whereas Joella studied European Ethnology at LMU here in Munich. And they both met at the University of Gastronomic Sciences in Colenso, in the Piedmont region in Italy. I think it has a focus on slow food, sustainable food production, and they both did two different masters there, but kind of met, learned about each other's interests, and realized that they both are really interested in pursuing sustainable food production. And this is what brought them together over the idea to revolutionize the food system on a global level from Munich. So Charlotte currently works for a research and consulting agency that is based in Berlin, but she's working here from Munich, and she is part of a team that is actually developing the new Ernährungshaus from the city of Munich, which is a huge project, the big nutrition house that has a focus on how to eat healthy and climate neutral. And I think we can actually invite you again and talk about this Ernährungshaus. I recently read an article about it in the Süddeutsche Zeitung, which is a local regional newspaper, and they said it's a really big deal, and we'll see what's next in this project. It takes a while, as usual in Munich with big projects. Joella works for an organization that is based in the UK and in Ghana, and that helps communities to turn underutilized land into wetland ecosystems for food production and climate resilience. And she's therefore commuting between Munich, the UK, and Ghana. So she has three different addresses, so to say. And actually we're super lucky that we have both of them here together today, because it's hard to get them at the same time in the same place, which is today on a Tuesday in the Tuesday discussion. And today we will hear about Holy Tisch and its purpose, and what it does to help revolutionize the food system, and what both of them actually working for Holy Tisch on a voluntary basis. I have to say this project is a voluntary project. What they see as most pressing challenge to bring about change in the food sector. So please help me to welcome our two guests, Charlotte and Joella.
Thank you very much for being here today. Thank you very much for inviting us today. So Charlotte founded Holy Tisch in 2019 with the mission and aim to connect actors and ideas in the current food system. And our aim with Holy Tisch is to facilitate knowledge transfer, to bring people together, forge partnerships, and basically support sustainable development within the food system. Our vision is to promote an equal, democratic and local food system, but on bringing in tradition, but also new technologies and innovation, everything without compromising culture or harming the environment. We see our Holy Tisch project as a forum where ideas come together and where a process can begin. We are trying to bring different organizations and individuals together, be they scientists, NGOs, farmers, or some kind of policy specialist, for example, and to bring their ideas and their project in the public sphere and open the discussion and the discourse. We can go to the next slide.
Yes. So you already met us through the introduction, I think. So in the middle there's Damini, the third of us. At the moment we are a team of 3 women, and Damini is based in New Delhi, and she is a food writer and critics, and she observes the issue of sustainability, migration and gender through the lens of food. So and she also studied at the University of Gastronomic Science, where we somehow met through the network. We haven't been together at the same time there. Yes, besides the 3 of us, we have like a kind of an extended supporters network, also like because the foundation of Holy Tisch, we're a team out of 3 people, and the 2 others are still, like, we are all in contact still. Yes.
Yeah, we always have a bit of support when it gets to hot phases where we think like, okay, this is our topic at the moment, we need some research, who's interested in the moment, and then people help us to find other people.
Yeah. And the biggest team was, I think, 7 people during the first convention, which we realized. Yes. Maybe we jump to our work. So the heart of our work is the organization of the Future Food Conventions, which we had in 22 and 21. These are 3 days convention due to COVID digitally, and we had around 80 speakers and a lot of different sessions on different topics. And for example, in the first edition, we had 5 chapters, like 5 topics, and the topics were food and culture, feeding the masses, 21st century eaters, the future of gastronomy. Yes, and then in last year, like in 21, we focus more on food sovereignty and movements around regenerative agriculture. Yes, and besides these big events, once a year we also conduct interviews, which gives kind of the same purpose to give the people the chance to share their project, to share what they are working on, and then to also connect with each others. And those interviews are happening when the people are available. And actually you can watch all sessions, almost all sessions online. So you find them on the website or on our YouTube channel.
So basically we do a lot of research before we start our project, finding people and really trying to have a diverse set of speakers. So we as you can see, we tick a lot of countries. What Charlotte said today when she saw the map, it's not enough. Mm-hmm. So we still have to have a little bit of work. But we're really trying to have global South and global North and not have an Eurocentric view or just one singular viewpoint on our topics that we are addressing. So for example, last year we talked to Philipp Birker. He is German. He is currently developing a network called Climate Farmers, where they're really like little superstars at the moment and bringing all European farmers together to shift to a regenerative agriculture system, but also addressing EU policies. Or we talked to Sofia Rubio Chavez. She is from Peru. She's trying to conserve the Amazon forest with the cultivation or the harvesting of pear nuts and making products out of it, working really closely with indigenous farmers. Or we talked to Riyad Abu Latif. He's from Beirut, a chef in Lebanon, and he talked with us about financial crisis and how it impacts the food system and what their struggle is, but also what the opportunities and chances are within that. I think we can go to this next slide. So why are we interested in the concept or topic of food sovereignty? We see, like, looking at the food system, there are so many different approaches or principles, issues to address. And we feel like through the lenses of food sovereignty, we can address multiple things at a time, or it brings many more things together with agroecology and biocultural diversity. I'm gonna just quickly or briefly talk about these concepts because I'm sure some you're a bit familiar with, but just so that you understand how we look at it. So agroecology for us is this holistic framework from the food system. It's a movement, it's a practice, but it's also a science. And this trinity of these three things focus on the function of natural ecosystems and on the entire food value chains, be it from the production, distribution, consumption, waste management, policies, knowledge, all these things. Biocultural diversity, that's where we rely on Michel Pimbert. He's a famous food activist and agroecologist, and he sees that as the link between, I think, between diversity of that's found in, between biological and cultural diversity. So humans are influencing the diversity of nature, but also nature is influencing how humans are living. And this co-evolution is bringing a process together, and also how humans are modifying landscapes then also gets into their cultural or how they shape food systems, for example, and can help then to enable people to create more sustainable concepts, how to work in a food system, for example. And food sovereignty is mainly created by La Via Campesina, and provides a different framework for the use of land, agriculture, from the people who are producing the food, like indigenous people, farmers, pastoralists, fishermen, to provide something else as the normal food system at the moment. Really important, there's also the equal access on land and having a local food system within their territories. This year we are focusing from this big topic of food sovereignty on food commons. We started our research I think a few months ago, and gonna dive deeper now in the next month, finding people, finding projects, and reading a lot of books. So generally, if we look at the food system, what are we seeing now? A lot of hunger, a lot of malnutrition, but also obesity or diabetes or unequal access to land and food, food waste, overfishing, still cruel conditions for animal farming, pollution of soil is really big, or from water bodies as well as things like major deforestation. So a lot of problems, and also a lot of inequalities. For example, if you look at smallholder farmers, that they are producing the majority of world agriculture's food, from 70%, but still are the people who are suffering a lot from equal food access, so in food insecurity. Because all of these people are depending on the general market mechanism, so capitalism and the industries and the companies that are working within that. So that's something we really need to change and challenge and address in the next months or years or whatever, and what's also our focus with our work is to create a balance again between people and nature and create a functioning food system again. So why is then food commons interesting for us? Because the concept of food commons is a way, or it's trying to liberate and democratize the way food is being produced and distributed. And to have more power and agency and be more enabled to make food choices or in the food production chains. And coming away from this concept of food as a commodity, or can treat it in the capitalist and market structures. We don't believe that food commons gonna save the world entirely, but we think it's a puzzle within the whole chain. So generally speaking, as I said before, the act of commoning is addressing or is challenging the current system that we're living in and the idea of capitalist growth all the time. Because the production in commons is more focused on natural resource management, regeneration, and how much is needed for consumption, and not how much can we produce to generate more profit. So all these mechanisms of exploitation inequalities should generally not be found in a functioning food commons. So when we look at commons, or when I read everything, then it's, for me, everything is a plus and a benefit, like these circular systems, and adding more to it instead of extracting. That's also like why will people engage in commons? Because I think this power of a collective, and that the individual gets more power and support of a strong collective, really enables and empowers individual with this shared goals and vision to create something together. Also, it's a great solidarity systems are also a great way to address things like the current climate crisis or inequalities, as we said before, if it focuses on cooperation, justice, and ecology. These elements in food commons that are really focusing on responsibility, shared risk, dropping down hierarchies, and putting really value in the product or in the resource that it's coming from, changes the way that people look at food products, for example, because the consumer, the producer, dives into one prosumer then in the end. For example, in Munich, there are also some food commons existing already. We have a very famous community-supported agriculture called Kartoffelkombinat. I think 2 years ago there was a food co-op created called Food Up here in Munich that we also talked to in our conventions. And obviously looking at food commons is also difficult coming from this capitalist society, that you look at it and don't put your own mind and thought of where's this benefit analysis or all these things. So food commons have to be, there's no blueprint, I think. It has to be a creative process to find out what fits best in the current setting. And I think the main overall idea is to create together a bigger positive impact for a more humane, ecological friendly food system that does not just underlie current market mechanism. And I think with that we can stop the input and get into the discussion with you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.